Hello everyone, in this video we are going to have a lot of different stories and a lot of different news stories. Keep a critical mind as always. I will always try to put all the evidence and proof out there. If there isn't enough, then also you can search for yourself, but I will try to keep all those things out there for you guys. And as always, keep a critical mind and I hope you enjoy. The big time has come. Quarter 1 report. We read the quarter 4 report but several months ago. Now it's time for the quarter 1 report. Big takeaway is EN revenue is down 50%. Let's see how everything else has been going. Let's see the full thing. Financial results, all these type of things. Of course, you have here. We're just going to go by their main thing. It says membership-driven profit structure, Vtuber unit, merchandise such as popularity of heroes. They're saying that the merchandise is helping out a lot of their stuff, keeping things afloat. Major factor for the underperforming commerce business was the lost opportunities to sell merchandise based on the 2 events mentioned below, which were the big summer concert and the one that was going to have at Anime Expo and things like that. They couldn't sell merch very much because the expo was done. Revenue significantly underperformed level forecast for quarter 1 as one of the 3 events planned at the beginning of the fiscal year was postponed and another was canceled. Postponed event has been rescheduled for December. Oh yeah, there was another postponed event that was rescheduled for December. Those 2 are making it bad. Promotion, number of projects remained unchanged, but the unit price of projects increased significantly. So what they're saying here is that they're still having the same amount of projects, but it's costing them more to do it, basically. Live streaming has gone up 9.5%. Commerce has gone up 19.5% by business area. 93% up revenue according to them. Promotion of 5.9% in the quarter 1 results. Year on year for quarter 1 to quarter 1. The other stuff has gone 40%. And this is all in millions of Japanese yen. So overall, live streaming has gone 1.3 billion Japanese yen. It's up 9.5%. The revenue itself is up 16.9%. Operating profit and operating profit has gone up 32.8 and net profit has gone 32.8. The revenue. Quarter 1 results are still, they fell short of targets. We made no changes for the fiscal half year and things like that. So the progress, according to what they're saying for the full fiscal year, this is to move the goalposts a little bit. This is kind of obfuscation, trying to hide the bad stuff by saying, oh, in the year, we're 41% progress. In the year, we're 38% progress. That type of stuff. But they did fall short of the forecast. The forecasts were 18,000 and 7,100. I don't know why they had such high forecasts for everything involved. But their forecast overall are 39,000 and 14,800 in millions of Japanese yen. That's what they're forecasting overall. So the progress compared to forecast, they wanted to be like halfway there. They're not halfway there. But they still have 3 quarters to go. So we'll see how that goes. The revenue is down from year to year, 16.9%. Overall, promotion, events, commerce, they all look smaller. They're all way smaller in every single sense of the word. Operating profit is also down compared to year on year. It's 8.6% down. The direct variable costs, all these other things, all these other costs that usually come up with businesses is up 1.2%. The other costs and SG&A, that they're in general costs, they're, office related costs, employee related costs, outsourcing, etc. It's up 7.4%. So their costs are up. That's what they're saying. That's why they're having less money, supposedly. Number of VTubers has remained pretty stagnant recently because they've had graduations and they've had some people coming up. The most recent graduations of Kunai and Hex are going to be probably in quarter 2, maybe quarter 3, because remember the quarters are weird. They're not like the every 3 months starting in January. They're every 3 months starting in like April, I believe. So that happens. So their numbers are up. Number of any color ID, thousands of accounts. I don't know what that means in the sense of people being in there. I guess there were 5 new debuts and 1 graduation from Nijisanji, 3 new debuts from Nijisanji EN. So we have the number of employees has also gone up to 454. They have corporate, engineer, designers, and business is their largest portion, of course. Business and VTuber management, VTuber planning, content planning, event planning, YouTube program planning, media mix planning, that type of stuff. So they have, they're putting all these separate right there, but they've had from quarter 4 to quarter 1, They've had 24 more people. So interns, tons of interns, which is, as we know, especially in the business section, they have a lot of interns. Maybe in illustration, 2D modeling, they have more professionals, and content production, that type of thing, they have more professionals. But in the business section, we all know by now they do intern stuff because they announce it. They announced the fact that they're doing it. New debuts, Ayakaki has been very successful, especially Loon Loon. Loon Loon, the mascot character here in top center, has been extremely successful. The Noth, on the other hand, has not. Why? Not because they haven't tried hard. Not because they aren't trying their hardest. They're doing their damnedest to try to be successful. Nijisanji has been like, nope, EN, we've abandoned you at this point. We're not going to give you any support. We're not going to give you anything. That's just the way we're doing things. Key initiatives, they're going to Chrono Noir 6th Anniversary, June Bride, Nijisanji EN Heroes, Nijisanji Battle Mode Type, Google Pixel X Nijisanji, in Japan of course, NBA X Nijisanji, Joe Rikichi First Live as well. Those are the key initiatives that they've done, not necessarily being super successful as you can see down here. Their initiatives, Nornus, etc. Year on year, supposedly, for the initiatives on the outlook for second quarter, this is what they want to happen. They want it to be 54% year on year results. This is their outlooks. This is what they're looking to have happen. They're trying to have 68% growth on the operating profit and net profit, same thing. These usually are never met. The first quarter ones, as you saw before, they weren't really fully met. They're at 34% of what they're expecting, that type of thing. So financial forecasts for the quarter one results. First half in 2025, 18,000, that's what they're expecting. Operating profit, 7,100, margin 39.4%. Operating profit on the secondary part is, and net profit is 27.8%. What they've had, what they wanted the full year is this. These are all the forecasts. Their actual results for 2024 were actually down here. As we all know, they actually did okay. They did close to what they're expecting for 2025. That's why 2025 forecasts have been pushed up. They're close to what they're expecting to have. Now the difference is about 7,000 and percentage of change. These are all going to be their forecasts, what they're expecting. They always shoot high and they go low, pretty much. They end up being lower than they shoot high because they shoot a little too high. Their income statements, their revenues, for the full year 2023, 2024, 26.3% of growth. They're expecting another 16% of growth. Another, their growth margins and things like that. These are all number. For the people who love numbers, I have them here for you guys. But all these numbers here, you're going to see a little bit better because I'm going to move them up a bit so you can see a little bit better because my face is covering some of them. All these things here, the profit margins, everything like that, that is all expectations. These are all forecasts for the profits, and these are things that aren't really doing too well. This is year-on-year growth according to this. Actually, this is actual quarter one, what they actually happened in there. According to them, operating profit went up 32.8% and net income went up 32.8%, even though there were some areas that were lower. So that's their claims here. Of course, we can only take them based on their claims. They can't really lie on these things because if they find out that they've lied before, they can get into deep trouble. The revenue by business area and group. We have this. These are big numbers. These are numbers that a lot of people are looking forward to, as you can see there. My face covers it a little bit. I apologize for that. Fiscal year 2025, quarter one. We have live streaming JP. The quarter to quarter, Nijisanji JP made less money. Quarter to quarter live streaming, they made a little bit more. Commerce, they made less. Events, they made way less. And promotion, they made a little bit more. EN made half of what they had before. Pretty much half of what they had before. Exactly 50% overall of what they had before. Live streaming dropped by hundreds of millions of yen, by over 100 million yen. In total, they lost 682 million yen overall for Nijisanji EN. That's about $5 or $6 million US dollars around, based on about $5 million US dollars based on the current exchange rates or so. They lost like around 5 million. Events, they lost money on the events because events for quarter one 2024 they had nothing. This one they had something, but they had to because of all the planning involved and everything like that, and they made nothing. They lost 8 million Japanese yen. What does that mean? They lost about $80,000 or so. Probably with I don't know, penalties they had to pay or something like that. Who knows? Promotion was down a bit too, money-wise. Live streaming and other, I don't know what other is. Maybe it's their little bits that are split among them. You have a big loss, almost half as well for the quarter. From year to year, you also have other, the 61 here, as you can see down here. They lost pretty much a lot. Their revenue was about 1 billion yen less, which is about 10 million US dollars less. About 1.5 billion yen, which is about 10 million US dollars, around there, because you multiply it by about 150 and that's what you get. About 10 million US dollars less, which is a lot. That's a lot of loss. No company wants to go on loss. No company at all. And yes, the 8 million yen, as everyone is probably in the comments saying right now, the 8 million yen has to do with the Anime Expo thing. Because they canceled the concert, the preparation, like I said, they probably had to pay a cancellation fee. They probably had to pay that out of their own pocket. They can't use insurance because it wasn't a emergency. It wasn't like an actual like natural disaster or anything like that happened. It was just that they canceled it, so they probably had to pay a cancellation fee. COGS and SG&A. I want to let you guys know what COGS and SG&A, for all of you like myself who aren't very versed in these things. COGS is cost of goods sold, basically the cost that it took for them to sell anything that they made. And SG&A is selling, general, and administrative costs. So these are all costs. One is the goods that they sold, basically the production of those goods, like any kind of merchandise, how much it cost them to make it. And the other ones is selling, general, and administrative expenses, how much it costs for them to put it on the marketplace and that kind of thing. Two different costs, because one is like manufacturing and another one is more the administrative side. So the cost of sales you have here. You have quarter one, 4,000. This quarter one, 3,000. It's still less. Revenue, percentage of revenue is a higher percentage of revenue, but it was less revenue overall. Direct variable costs, you can see it's also a drop, but also a higher percentage of revenue because the revenue was lower overall. Employee related costs went up. Office related costs went up. Outsourcing and other also went up. Their SG&A, which is their administrative stuff, that went up. All their costs have gone up. And that's why they're saying that there's less profit overall. Their balance sheet, you can take a look at it here as I try to, show it to you guys here. You take a look at it. Current assets, from fiscal year 2023 to now, it had dropped a lot. The current assets dropped a lot from 2024 to now, about 8 million yen, 8 billion yen drop. Cash and deposits also went down. They are down a lot. These numbers, these balance sheet and cash flow statement numbers, that is what scares investors. The inventories are around the same. The accounts and receivables went down a bit. That can be good because that means it's less, less overhead, not current tasks. All these things, these cash flows, it can scare them. Business overview. They're talking about here about, being the largest VTuber group in Japan by numbers, because of the fact they throw meat wave after meat wave after meat wave. Yes, they develop multiple services anchored by each VTuber. This is their large group of VTubers because they just decided to go meat wave. They're trying to supposedly expand the fan community. Lies. Constructing engagement. Niji sisters and the cultists, of course. Improving brand recognition. Well, your brand recognition is down the toilet right now, sirs and madams. Real world connections. That's also bad. You haven't done anything good for those. Long-term performance progress. For 2024, which is the last full year that they have, which, of course, they're showing full years. They can't show the full year of the fiscal year 2025 because the fiscal year 2025 is barely in its second, I believe it's in its second quarter, which is, nowhere near being done. I think it's from April to April, I think, is when they do the fiscal years in Japan. So yeah, they've gone up considerably, but I think this year it's going to be down. A few VTubers are selected from approximately 10,000 auditioners and 6 to 12 months of training. So remember, when you see people graduate, like Hex that graduated recently in September, that's September to August, you see them graduating. That means that yes, they were on a 1 year or however year contract. Their contracts are usually 6 months before they debut. That's when they sign them. Same thing with Kunai, who's going to be graduating soon. The reason why she could graduate soon in September is because, just based on this, because she came out in around October, based on this, they had signed their stuff somewhere around April or May. So because of that, we can tell that she probably signed a 1 year contract and either made an option to be able to get out or was able to get out in some other way. And of course, we have, VTubers select approximately 10,000. Live streaming revenue, 16%. Commerce percent of revenue, 59%. 18%, 6%. Basically, the whole big thing here. I apologize for the length of this, but I'm trying to go full over this, just the way it should be looked at, so you guys can see the full report. quarterly fluctuations in each business model. Quarterly revenue fluctuations are dependent on events, etc. Live streaming, it fluctuates per VTuber. This basically saying, yeah, things are being kind of weird. It's not our fault. It's everything else. You know, that kind of thing. Fluctuates quarterly due to differences in types of merchandise and hits. Seasonal but stable progress for promotion events, etc. You're seeing the things there. Any colors market environment. They're trying to show growth. Forecasts. These are all forecasts of domestic VTuber market size forecasts. These are all how big their market, the market that they can tap. This is not any color itself. This is saying the VTuber. This is what they're seeing in the market growth and what they want to do. Of course, down here they're saying conceptual representation of Japan VTuber market share. Any colors and competitor A is almost always Hololive. Yes, they have a smaller market share because of the fact they actually seem to want to cater their people, cater their new showings of their new generations to their audience instead of just a meat grinder type of thing. You have good ones like Ayakaka that popped up, Ayakaka, whatever it is called, Aikeka, whatever you want to call it, the one with Loon, they're doing very well. But for every Loon, you have people like the Noth and TTT who get nothing. Concentration of major VTuber firms, vertical launch of VTubers. It's basically saying that the whole market is growing, where large companies can easily leverage their superiority through the use. Superiority, they always do this. Large company where easily leverage their superiority through the use of existing communities. They did this in the Q4 report too. They're using the same exact language. I don't think Cover uses this language, but any color likes using the whole superiority thing because they do have a superiority complex on everyone else. It just looks really bad. Building a broad fan base of all genders and ages, especially young adults, Generation Z, particularly any color, 32% male, 68% female. That's why they're called needy sisters a lot of times, because Hololive is totally the opposite. Hololive has like 68% male and 32% female. That's why they're called Holo Bros. So that's why they're called that way. It's not anything misogynistic. Just remember that. They have 20 to 29 as their largest ones. 19 and younger is 21%. And they have older babas around. Feature of revenue spread across VTubers. This is just saying that the primary ones that are giving them the largest percentage of what they have are ones that debuted before the 2019. And the ones that debuted other are still giving them 18%. The KRID, those type of ones, I think is what they are. The ones that debuted after fiscal year 2024 only do 1%. So yeah, revenue contribution per VTuber. Revenue contribution accumulated and per VTuber is much less, of course. Management policy for midterm growth. They want to increase sales because, of course, they are a merchandise company that happens to have VTubers. They want to increase it by 8%. That's stupid. I don't think it's going to happen. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen. Operating profit by 94%. I don't think it's going to happen. These are goals. These are lofty goals that they're doing. Important policies, midterm management goals. They want to revenue per VTuber is increasing through the strengthening of the ecosystem, according to what they say. They want to strengthen business foundations, increase employees in business areas, VTuber management strengthened, VTuber management structure. There, I'll see it when I'll see it. You know, seeing is believing. If they actually prove it, then good for them. If they don't, then whatever. Production of VTubers. They want to increase it by 10 to 15%. The number of VTubers per year. So let's say they have 200 something, they're going to be 20 or more VTubers per year. Strengthen virtual talent academy initiatives. Increase the number of unique VTubers. Expect average annual growth of 10 to 50%. So they're trying to expand a lot. They're going to keep throwing things to the meat grinder. In addition, the debut of new VTubers will continue to increase the number of employees. Like I said, seeing is believing. They're going to be increasing talent managers, illustrators, 3D model designers, studio engineers to develop better products, supposedly. And of course, here's their supposed studio that they're building. As I've covered in Q4, this is just a rehashing of all that type of thing. Their cooperation with one of Japan's leading acoustic interior design firms and all that kind of stuff, showing that they're doing something like what Hololive did. Hololive and Cover already did it. And Any Color is and Any Color and Nijisanji is playing catch up on this one. Strengthening Virtual Talent Academy. This is their basically throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, and what sticks becomes a Nijisanji library. They do auditions. They do like 20 or 30 people at a time type of thing. They select 50 to 60 candidates per year. Like I said, throwing at the meat grinder. And this doesn't mean that they immediately go into VTubing. They're taught a lot of things on how to use Live 2D, how to do all that kind of stuff, and how to use their app how to properly become a VTuber, etc. And if they do well, then they get past all that. This is unit production. They're doing individual activities and unit activities to try to foster growth, according to what they're saying here. The one example they're using is Roth Mao, which has individual activities for each person. They show individuality, and then they do the big ones, which is, gets the larger numbers. And then you have, all the merchandising that they do for it. They span activities as a unit of sales, merchandise, and things like that. Strengthening of commerce expansion as well. They develop a system of supply a wider range of items demanded by the fan community. They're trying to say that they are meeting demand. They're establishing a system that can provide stable monthly supply of products in needing for their bottom line. Other than, the whales, I don't think a lot of things are sold by most people. I think a lot of people now are going to fan artists, which is what I recommend, because you are still supporting a fan of Nijisanji, but not Nijisanji directly. Because remember, 99% pretty much of all merch sales, other than voice packs, go directly to Nijisanji's pockets. Only about 1 to 2%. 2% for the highest earners, 1% for everyone else goes to the livers. It's been verified by Mista, Michimochievee, and others who have left Nijisanji. Reduce the opportunity of loss by properly managing when released products, etc. They have been doing really horribly with this, of supply merchandise based on demand and supply merchandise based on what they want to do here. Of course, product planning in line with current trends. Supposedly, they haven't been doing well with that one. Business investment and shareholder returns. Utilizing profits generated from the business while considering balance between growth and VTuber business through business expenses. So this is basically their investment and the returns they want to give shareholders. Operating expense is up here at the top. Cumulative operating through 2027, cash and equivalents, etc. They're showing on the very right what they're having. Investment in human resources, VTubers and employees. Investments in capital expenditures, media mix, projects, all the things that they have to do. 3 to 5 billion Japanese yen. Cash on hand, approximately 20 billion Japanese yen. Shareholder returns, about 30 billion Japanese yen. So shareholder returns are the big ones. And of course, this makes investors very happy, but it hits their bottom line because they have less stuff. They have less stuff to use for spending on the VTubers. Financial policy, use of debt in addition to own funds. Of course, every corporation pretty much runs on debt until they get the money back. They're doing all these types of things. Long-term vision. They want to replacement of broader entertainment industry driven by expansion of metaverse. They want to expand into the metaverse. They want to do live streaming, live events, commerce, tie-up ads, music, that kind of stuff to grow. The whole market size is growing. They want to be a big part of it. Of course, as they showed there. Magical experience is what they're saying. Next entertainment factory. They always use this word. I hate that they use this word, but they always use it. We're getting near the end, people. Use technology to change entertainment. We will continue to deliver more free, more diverse, and more detailed content, says them. What follows is new entertainment economic zone. The way people live and work will change dramatically in the near future. Time has come to devote time to something more creative. At the same time, this is an age where there's no barrier between users and creators. A new cycle of consumption and creativity will accelerate the entertainment zone, according to them. And then they go, based on who's a VTuber, we already know that part. Comprehensive support system, according to them, we know that part based on Q4. But let's just see real quick. They do in-house production. They application for diversity talents. They do VTuber Virtual Academy in order to train the talents. They support them based on live streaming services, which is, the Live 2D riggers, and they have their own app. And after that, they debut. They engage live streaming and other activities, and after that, their support ends. They're even showing it there. That's the way I'm taking it. Their support ends after that. Business risks, of course, they're saying human resources. People could, steal stuff. People could break NDAs. People could leave. The attrition rate is a big thing. They're trying to this is all the same as Q4. They're trying to respond to reputational risks, reliance on popular VTubers. They're saying it's an inescapable feature of the business. In reality, revenue is distributed among a large number of VTubers, but they do depend on it. They've realized that. They've changed their wording a little bit. The risk of VTubers moving on to the next stage of their careers by enhancing the support system. Let's see if it's actually true. We don't know because no one has left since they supposedly started doing this, other than the Michimochievee and others. But of the ones that have left from the time they said all these things, from Q4, there hasn't been anyone that's been saying, "Oh my God, their support system was amazing," blah blah blah. No one has been saying that. But yeah, they want to protect their intellectual property, as every company does. Train and do all these other things, of course. And of course, they're saying here that a lot of these things are forward-looking statements. Don't take this as fact, blah, blah, blah. The usual stuff that they've said in other ones. Let me just look at real quick the rundowns that these people are having. Yes, Niji EN revenue is down by 50%. Might be the start of Niji EN's final arc. Reading through the slides, EN is only mentioned once in the revenue appendix, like I mentioned before, like I showed you guys before. It's only shown once in their revenue. That's it. It's not shown again, which is showing that EN is not going to be supported. EN is pretty much over. EN is losing. EN is lost, pretty much. They're keeping it on life support because it still brings them in money, which of course, if it brings money, it's going to do well. But other than that, it's on life support. They only mention Niji and NBA and other EN participated events. And they did mention that, you know, revenue fell because things were canceled. And sweet merciful crap, look at Niji EN's numbers. Yes, these are the numbers that I showed you. And here's another little extra. They lost 8 million yen because of the cancellation. They are half of what they were based on 1 year ago. This shows that the Selen controversy hit them hard, reputational wise. It hit them really hard, really, really hard. And that is the problem. That is what happened here. It hit them extremely hard. And here we have, numbers are directly from the report. Individual categories do not add up. AX cancellation cost them over 56,000 US dollars, probably in cancellation fees. They lost money in all 4 categories by a significant margin. Promotions were down, other things were down. EN lost a lot. EN is pretty much a leech at this point. Not because the VTubers are leeches. Love every single one of the VTubers because they're trying their hardest, just like I am. And, you know, all these other things, the outlooks and results are bad. Like you're seeing the highlights here. The outlooks here, the results are bad, showing all these numbers. I showed them to you in the bigger case of everything, but here's everything here. Revenue dropped. Everything dropped. It is really, really bad. It is looking bad, and in order to not let this go like for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I just want to show you guys these results here. The results that were shown here. You can pause, you can take a look at them. These results are not good overall. Supposedly it's because it's more costs and certain things were canceled, but EN is on basically life support at this point, unfortunately, for the livers. It's probably going to get absorbed. They're probably not going to get the full-on, you know, Nijisanji India treatment where they got rid of everybody. It's going to be on life support pretty much. Along with the numbers comes the revision of their policy on dividends. This is the money that's given back to investors every quarter. Every quarter based on, if you're an investor, I used to invest a lot. When I had money, I used to invest a lot. When I had a better paying job and that kind of stuff. So what dividends are, from what I understood when I was investing, is every quarter you get a certain percentage back from what you invested. Let's say you invested per share, each one costs 25 bucks. Depending on the way that they set their dividends, you can get something like 50 cents back or $1 back a quarter, you know, something like that. It's usually a small percentage. Like they're saying here, revised forecast 3250 yen. Like they're showing here, 3250 yen. That's about, I don't know, less than a buck. It is somewhere around 30-40 cents, somewhere around there. End of second quarter. And in the year ends, they're going to be having 65 yen, which is about 50 cents, give or take some, based on the current stuff. And that's just basically them letting the regulators in Japan knowing that they're going to be doing dividends and things like that. That's just normal stuff that happens there. Let's see what people are reacting. They spent 2 billion yen on dividends, about 7.5 billion yen on buyback, 1.5 billion yen on December 1, 11 billion in total. The last 9 months, Nijisanji has spent more than 80 million US dollars, inflating its stock price, adjusting to exchange rates at the time. They could have given each of their livers 400,000 US dollars instead of millions left over. They could have built 5 brand new studios, but it's bad to the point to see noticeable dip in their assets from 19.7 billion to 14.2 billion. They spent less on SG&A, staff and administration in quarter 1 compared to quarter 4 in 2024. Sisters, please take note. Not that Sisters is and Binted care about the actual streamers. The company doesn't give an S about you or your Oshi. Instead, it will ensure Riku has his gold-plated play buttons. Exactly. They only care, of course, as all corporations care. No one should be under anything of thinking that corporations care for anything but the bottom line. Hololive is doing a bit better in the sense of, at the very least, they're trying to show a more human side. But if the human side would have failed them, and they would have lost like 50% of revenue, don't doubt that they would have made changes that would have hurt the community in the sense of maybe, produce less content, made more merchandise, supported their livers less because they have less money. Who knows? We don't know. But they're a corporation who is publicly traded, and their legal requirement is that they give some kind of profit in the year. That's their legal requirement. Now, Hololive is doing it by being human. Their profit is working. It's working for them, and I am so glad it is, because that allows them to continue being human in what they're doing. Nijisanji, on the other hand, we all know how that's going. It is meme time. It's a short meme. It's a small meme, but it's still a meme. Memes matter. All memes matter. So you can't Cabadon a ghost. Cabadon is like hitting them in the, like, I guess doing the little face plant. I don't know what it is. It's like something like that happens to do with the face. Let me just actually check what Cabadon is before I fucking talk about it. Welcome back, everybody, to the VTuber Showcase, the place where I like giving back to the community a little bit, giving back to VTubers who are, you know, trying to grow, just like I always have. I want to be that force that helps them in their growth and give back to the wonderful community, paying it forward, so to speak. So here's Miles David. He's a host VTuber. So from what I'm seeing, he does, you know, more chatting streams, more podcast type things. He is a V singer, VA, video editor, jazz elitist, and guy failure. I'm a guy failure too, but in a different way. I'm just a failure. Yes, but here we go. This is their design. Very nice design. Let's take a look at their Twitch and what they have to say. The world can be harsh and stressful, so why not sit down and relax with the space between? We've got video games, music, esports, and both chill and chaotic vibes. Here at the internet's premier host club, we prioritize making sure you have a good time. And there we go. It's basically stream variety of games, FPS, competitive multiplayer, Metroidvanias, RPGs, etc., and just trying to create a good atmosphere while doing all of that. So let's take a look at some of their little posts that the things that have happened in the past here for them.
All right. I keep forgetting she only has 2. Oh, Conkeldurr.
Okay, what you got for me? Marsh Stomp.
Oh,
Alright, this is gonna be hidden power grass. Watch, Maya. Watch, observe.
Grass.
Observe.
I'm watching. Hidden power. If it's grass, I'm gonna scream.
What
Wait.
the fuck? It is? Holy shit.
Just super fucking lucky. Super effing lucky. Super lucky. Congrats to them for getting that luck right there. And of course, here we have the YouTube channel, which I like showing every single bit of the social media that they have, as long as they have it open and available. Here we go. Of course, they're having, you know, little Galaxy's Worst Jedi, little snippets here and there where they are doing editing and doing that. I remember doing that a lot before I started doing news. I did that on my other channel, a lot of gaming stuff. I would do little snippets here and there, shorten the 3-hour or so stuff into maybe like a 40-minute episode of every single high moment that we had in the stream. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and I do hope that you grow, Miles Davis, and I do hope that this helps you get some eyes on your channel. Thank you so much for watching. That is all the news that we have for today. Please let me know down below if you want to know any more news, or if you have any comments regarding anything that you saw here, which I will try my best to respond to. I love seeing your comments down below. Of course, as well, like and subscribe to the channel. That will give you more information every single day. I do 2 videos a day, so hopefully you enjoy.